Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to talk about one of the most ridiculous Arc Warlock builds in Destiny 2 PvP that I've ever seen. It's been absolutely absurd to play. It's been so much fun in Iron Banner, and I wanted to go over it with you guys right now. So it all starts with the Exotic Gauntlet Getaway Artist, which has the perk Dynamic Duo. Consuming your Arc Grenade grants an Arc Soul and amplifies you. The second part of that is the most important part for this season specifically because of the artifact perks that we have. Starting with Amped Up, gain damage resistance while amplified. That's absolutely broken, obviously, from the jump, because as soon as you start the match, you have a grenade, you can consume the grenade as you're getting into the first fight and become amplified for free, and then you're going to gain the benefit of these artifact perks. So you use Amped Up, so you have damage resistance, you have electric armor, stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped, obviously. You've also got Thunderous Retort. I was using Chaos Reach, but I would probably swap to Stormcaller as I was going forward. I was just kind of testing Chaos Reach to see how I liked it in PvP instead of using Stormcaller, because Thunderous Retort would make Stormcaller kind of insane. Grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. Lasts until the end of the super activation, so that would last the entire time you have that. Then we've also got Shock and Awe. Arc final blows while you are amplified. Summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. Now, this applies to weapons as well as abilities, so that is where the current season exotic auto rifle Centrifuge comes in. So you're going to essentially be spraying with this after you are amplified, and every kill is going to send out one of those little lightning bolts. It's going to jolt everybody nearby, and so when you have Iron Banner and you have players kind of playing together and you're trying to get multi-kills all the time, Centrifuge is insane for that right now, with that combination once you are amped up and you have Shock and Awe proc. As far as the rest of the weapons, they don't really matter. I'm using a shotgun, more of a defensive shotgunner, because I'm really focusing on this build. And then also in the heavy slot, does not matter whatsoever. Run whatever heavy you like. In PvP, that doesn't matter to the build at all. Now, jumping into the actual abilities, we have Storm Trance, which is whatever. You can use Chaos Reach if you'd like. It doesn't matter. I use Healing Rift. Obviously, I'm going to generate an Arc Soul from my Getaway Artist proc, but I'm also going to have on my Arc Soul aspect. So when casting Rift, I'll have an Arc Soul as well. While amplified, your Arc Souls are supercharged and gain increased fire rate. So that counts for not only your Arc Souls from your Getaway Artist, but also your Arc Souls from the rifts that you're casting as well. So keep that in mind. I'm pretty much always casting my arc rifts offensively. What I mean by that is I'm putting the rift down before I get into a fight. So I will drop my rift, peek a corner. If I take some damage, I'll go back into my rift to heal up. If you try to cast it in the middle of the fight, you're probably going to die to an AoE effect like a grenade or something. And it's just not opportune time to cast a rift while you're mid gunfight. So keep that in mind. That's something I like to talk to everybody about. Then we've also got Chain Lightning. You can run ball lightning as well if you'd like. It doesn't matter. It's whichever one is more comfortable for you. Now, I do like ball lightning at times because of the secondary part of that. While amplified, ball lightning releases additional lightning strikes before detonating. But I think chain lightning is nice because while amplified, it creates an additional set of chains. That one works better when I'm kind of up close and personal. So that's why I stick with chain lightning personally. As far as the grenade goes, I'm actually running flashbang because it has the lowest cooldown of all the arc grenades. And that is the absolute key. You want to have a low cooldown in order to get your grenade back as fast as possible, and you're not actually using it as a grenade, you're consuming it every single time, so you don't have to worry about what grenade you have, you just want the lowest possible cooldown. Then we've got the fragments, Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an iron trace. So this is fun because not only with Centrifuge, while you are jolting targets, you're creating those electrical storms and everything like that, you're also creating ionic traces. It just really works well together. I don't even have the catalyst for Centrifuge, and it's been phenomenal for actually getting multiple kills. You can also, if you have your Centrifuge fully charged, you'll actually blind nearby enemies. I've had that proc a couple times, and it's pretty insane. I've also got Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. This is good when you're in a kind of a close back and forth fight, but doesn't really matter as much. Then you got Spark of Haste. While you have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. This is nice because you essentially want to be moving all the time while you're amplified. You have that bonus to speed and movement and your jump height and all that stuff, so you can use it to confuse enemies quite a bit. And so you definitely want to be moving around the map as often as possible when you are amplified. Then finally we have Spark of Amplitude. Rapidly defeating targets while you are amplified creates an overpower. Again, you're amplified all the time, so that should be easy for you pretty much all the time. Then we've got our artifact perks, mods, apologies. I've got Power Preservation, Arc Targeting, Arc Siphon. We've got Focusing Strike, Arc Loader, Arc Dexterity. Then we've got Unflinching Arc Aim, and Arc damage resist don't matter in PvP. We've got Arc Weapon Surge and Absolution, and then finally Time Dilation ×3. You can mix it up. I actually would swap one of these out for Distribution. Personally, I just had it on, I just never updated that from my previous build, so that's why I've changed that now. Anyway, yeah, the way this build works is very, very simple. You consume your Arc Grenade, you go into combat. After you get in the first fight, you'll probably drop a rift behind a wells or a wall or something, some type of cover, and then you'll just keep engaging with your centrifuge and try to be amplified all the time. You'll have the assistance of your arc buddy all the time, which is nice. Centrifuge is not the lowest TTK weapon in the game. It's pretty solid, but it's not absolutely insane. So having those additions of those arc buddies evens the odds and makes it so you're going to be killing a lot faster than your enemies. And overall, I found this build to be absurd. I've had so much fun with it. I think a lot of people will call it kind of cheesy, which is fine. I understand that, but Destiny 2 is such a cheese-filled game at this point. I personally embrace that. I don't care if somebody gives me like the Bushido Destiny Code of Honor where you must use shotgun hand cannon or whatever. I don't see a lot of people running that stuff all the time anyway. I feel like you should use whatever you want to have fun, and this build is personally fun for me. And if everyone was running it, I would just swap to something else. Maybe I would toss on a Risk Runner, or I would adjust my builds accordingly. And I think running kind of counter to the meta is fun, even though this one's not a counter meta pick or anything like that, but it is one that I do believe is a lot of fun, and because of that, I'm going to happily use it, even if people are upset about it. And I hope more people use it. I want people to check it out and see how it feels. Anyway, I love to hear from you guys. My name is Jopa. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Destiny 2 content from me going forward of this nature. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.